Thank you very much. Let us start the afternoon session. The presentations in this afternoon are the selected presentation through the examination or evaluation of the program executive committee, program review committee. And Mr. Takai is the next presenter. Have been involved in network and web technologies from the college days, and then joined Cookpad, one of the Cookpad, and after a big system integrator. And he is now serves as a CTO at the Min & Wedding company, and he has published Java programming, Ruby, and enterprise Rails, and others. And then he is going to talk about how to build a strong team with Ruby, Agile, and DevOps. So, Mr. Takai, please. Good afternoon, everyone. Actually, my presentation is the first one in this afternoon. You may feel a little bit sleepy, but if I find somebody who is nodding, I would like to give you a quiz, so please just keep your tense while listening to my presentation. And as introduced before, actually I'm a CTO, Min & Wedding. My name is Takai. Min & Wedding means everybody's wedding in Japanese. And how many people know this company? Well, I can say about 100%. And Min & Wedding is a kind of online review service of wedding halls. And about 4 million, that is the number of unique browsing hits every month. And then there is industry newspaper, bridal industry newspaper, says that about half or more than 50% of people said that they have referred to our website to decide the wedding hall. Actually, DNA, Min & Wedding Company was established as part of the DNA business in 2008. And then incorporated in 2010, and then March 2014, we were listed on Tokyo Stock Exchange, and 2015, we just made a tie-up financially and business-wise with Cookpad. And actually, I'm just seconded from the Cookpad to this company. So my boss just asked me, why don't you go and work at Min & Wedding? And then I said yes, because I thought using the technologies we used at the Cookpad would make a different change or impact in the world, in a sense. So my idea at the time was just it's a good idea to work together with other people outside of a Cookpad. And then, but I realized, or I found that conditions or working environments are quite different at Min & Wedding. And Tomoko Namba, the founder of Cookpad, just published a book, and she just emphasized the importance of unlearning. She used the word unlearning. That means learning new things. And then, yes, every day I spend at Min & Wedding is an unlearning experience. So a kind of experience, a troublesome experience I would like to share with you. And first I went to Min & Wedding. There was something I faced. That it's a not a PPAP, but three little words, or Pearl. As Matsumoto-san said that Pearl is the Rally Wars child and quite a good, excellent language. However, there is something like a bomb in Pearl language as well. And Movasive. There was the framework developed at the DNA for flip phones or feature phones, and that was named Movasive. And the first CGI that was used and Apache HTTP server, that is the server for this MobileSif. So the setting of framework, there is some return framework, and you have to just manipulate that. So it needs some special skill. And actually, that was the open source versions was prepared, and SourceForge, the repository was there in SourceForge. However, the latest release was done in May 2005, and then the activities stopped at the time. And then, have you ever seen the MobileSif source code? And I would like to just share some of that with you. This is some example. This is a Perl language, so no need to explain to you what this is, but SQL, there is something, and SQL execute, and then, perhaps you're not expert for Perl, so if you just change that to a Ruby language, the end result is something like this. And then there were 15 engineers approximately at a new company I went, and a new project started, and some of the engineers assigned and start working so hard. And then there is no automatic run test, so that means they have to be very, very careful, and then just kind of frightened, scared of the risk of damage on the system. What I'm talking about is what happened about 1 year ago. So that is around May 2015. And then at the time, there was one server for development, and the MobileSif is based on Apache, and the setting is quite difficult. So one server for the purpose development, and the source code directly was shared with the Samba. So yes, there was some version control on a subversion, but unlike Git, the files would be just committed, all the committed if somebody want to do that. So that means you need to just announce or inform your colleagues about a commitment you want to do. And then the commit message, the name of commit message, and others, the things, one of the things you have to do. And then this is about the infrastructure environment at Min naのウェディング, and we used virtual dedicated servers, and then the setting management that is done manually by engineers, and then the servers is quite expensive, so that means it is difficult to buy one more new things. So there was a tendency to put a lot of functions, roles on one single server, so server just crashed, then everything would be gone. And then, so what happened to backup? Do you have a good backup? And then the engineer in charge would say that yes, probably it should be okay. And then monitoring, hosting a service is about a live monitoring, and if something happened about a live monitoring, we would receive the calls. And then, but system damage, system troubles would be, for example, realized sometimes only after the report from clients. And if you talk about something which happened many years ago, you may just recall the past with a rather nostalgic or good sense. But at the time, the Min naのウェディング, the development, the software development started in 2007. So when you look back on the Ruby on Rails history, actually 2006 Ruby conference was done or held the first time in 2006, Ruby 1.8. And soon we're going to have a version 2. So that was the situation at the time. And in 2007, the Rails, yes, Rails was a little bit risky choice. And MobileSif, that is developed within DNA. So MobileSif was not so bad choice, I believe, at that time. But yes, there was quite a strong the pressure of the business growth, because just the company went public only 4 years after the foundation, but there was some sacrifice to do that, particularly the technological point of view. So we need to improve the business or technology continuously, but there was no good system to do that at the company. Well, that was the situation I faced when I moved to Min Nano Weddings. And what kind of strategies we should take as an head engineer. And then there are two things I thought about. One is the use of commodities, and the other one is improvement of agility of the process. And the president of the company often said to me that what I'm talking about is quite difficult to understand. Why don't you make it clearer to us? So yes. And to be specific, this is about the community, the product which has been generalized so much, and then it is more difficult to differentiate that particular product for others. That may mean a commodity. So sometimes it may have a negative connotation, but that's not true all the time. There is some benefit or good points of a commodity. Commodity products have been just verified a lot, a kind of a battle proven, and then know-hows are now available widely. And ecosystem, many different tools have been prepared already for commodity products. So what I want to say, the Rails and Ruby on Rails and Amazon Web Services, yes, we decided to use these things. And then how about the agility process? What is this, you may think? And here, this is Asakusa RB. Webb Thomas, Mr. Webb Thomas was invited, and he just proposed agile or agility for the software development, and he said agility, and here this is the key points of agility according to what he said. Where do we want to be, and where are we, and how do we improve our position? And then just repeat this cycle again and again. That is agility, he said. So agility, the meaning of that agility is this. So perhaps, yes, it is quite natural. This is one of the things that you improve what to develop, but also you need to improve how to develop. And then agile, the agility is defined like this. And then DevOps, the second key word is DevOps. What is the DevOps? DevOps is the practice of operations and development engineers participating together in the entire service lifestyle, from design through the development process to production support. So version control and task management, and then structure configuration and continuous integration, monitoring, and test automation deploy. So these kind of tools oftentimes may be discussed, but DevOps, this is John Alspo's word, but John Alice said that this is to lower the risk of change through tools and culture. Yes, that is quite convincing. That means culture. So culture sounds difficult. You may remember the story of Ikkyu, the samurai general just ordered the Ikkyu to just catch a tiger painted on a screen. So culture is a kind of concept, and quite difficult it is to capture specifically. So if somebody said that this is a culture, it is difficult to understand.
According to the philosopher called Louis Althusser, he said the ideology existing in the material apparatus describing material practice is governed by a material ritual, which practice exists in a material action of a subject acting in all the consciousness according to his belief. It doesn't mean anything to me. So the point is that the material practice is something important. That's the essence here. So now talking back about the engineering, as a responsible person for the engineering, what is the right strategy for us? We have to focus on the commodity and agility. Those two are the keywords. And to that end, AWS and DevOps and Ruby on Rails and agile development should be followed. So thinking about the conventional infrastructure on the left side, here's infrastructure engineer. he has been making a lot of efforts. However, the infrastructure going forward should be automated. And then, in the past, engineers are working on his own, so it's alone. However, going forward, it should be done in a shared manner. That's for the future. I actually know this person. He is a community hero of the AWS in Asia Pacific. There are 3 people like him, and he is Mr. Sugawara. And he was selected as an AWS hero in Asia Pacific, and he is one of a few. And he is a kind of person renowned for the making tools, and he is in Cookpad. So I asked him to provide support, and he spent 3 months or so, and this was developed. And how we worked. We started to do infrastructure management by Ruby. There's Itamae server configuration management tool, and AWS configuration management is done using Ruby code. That's a change. And also database schema management is done by Ruby. And what are going to change? As they are the source code, so the version management and the code review can be done in GitHub. So it may still difficult for you to understand what actually happened. So I'd like to take this example. This is to set the host name, as you can see. By using Ruby, Ruby is very descriptive. So DSL, domain-specific language, can be easily made. So by utilizing these characteristics of Ruby, source code can be used for the server management. And also, just by entering one command, server configuration change can be made. And once it's done, there's a notification in your Slack. Even more, monitoring is available. So the number of RPS or the current status can be monitored. It was impossible in the past. However, by using Kibana, it can be visualized, and we can use for the monitoring and the review on the weekly basis to think about the weak point to get monitored. And for the service condition, we use distributed database called Redshift to check the status. And we can visualize the data as you see here. And visualization is where Ruby play an important role. From application server, there is the log, and there is Fluent TD, and it is to collect the data, and that will be sent to Kibana. And Kuroko2 is a job scheduler. And at the bottom, Embark using Java, but JRuby can be used to scale. And then the information will be sent to Redshift as a database. That can be realized by using Ruby. And talking about the monitoring, if there is some issue or problem, we can use a chat tool to get notified, or Zabbix, it's a monitoring tool. It is used for the monitoring purpose. And this tool called us. Twilio is an API service. This is a kind of API service to make a call. And this is called via Ruby. And then the phone call is made if there is an issue. And you see the Raspberry Pi at the bottom right. You wonder why. Raspberry Pi has a USB speaker connected so that whenever if there is an infrastructure event will be notified using the voice. So we do use the actor to record the voice so that if there is an alert, then his or her voice will notify us about the issue. How it was realized? This is actually in Ruby. As you know, Raspberry Pi is ARM, the company ARM, acquired by the SoftBank, and they use the CPU of ARM. And the script can be so simple as this is for the Slack management, monitoring, so that we can realize the voice announcement of an issue. So on infrastructure side, we have been making improvement, and infrastructure improvement is one part of our processes. And now talking about the development side. So comparison of the past and the future. In the past, engineer assigned to the project had to make a great deal of effort. However, automation is needed. And in the past, development is something engineer work alone. However, they have to involve others for the development job. It is actually not easy. So I know someone, these two, Mr. Akira Matsuda and Shintaro Kakutani. I asked them for their support. And the migration to the Rails, how we did, it's done one by one. It is difficult to drastically migrate. So between MobileShift and Rails, Ruby on Rails, we share the database and migrate by URL to URL. So replacement was done by URL one by one. And also build process was automated as well. GitHub code ready, and then merge code is automatically sent to Circle CI and get tested. After test is done without a problem, then the tool code deploy is used to send to the staging server. And Mina at the bottom middle is a chatbot. And Ruby is a bot written by Ruby framework that is used here for the deployment. And if we send a request for Mina for the deploy, then the code deploy is started and the code is deployed in the production environment. Back in 2013 in the Ruby world, I actually presented about this process automation. So if you are interested in, please refer to this slide deck. And the application status is visualized by using New Relic. And the Sentry error correction system is also used. And this is supporting Rails, but not MobileShift. So if you are the user of Rails, Rails is commoditized. So SaaS service is supporting Rails in many cases. And if you have any problem, then you can send a message. After including automated process, and after changing to the agile development, that's what we have done. And we have 4 members for the migration. And so what we done is to start with a small team with a member of 4. Still, it was difficult to begin with. So this is what we have to follow whenever we have the agile development. We have to voice up and we have to follow rules. At the beginning, when we had the meeting, people didn't speak up. But so if they didn't mention if yes or no, then we do not get the answer. So we have to make them to speak up whether they understand or not. And also, if we set the rules, sometimes rules are not followed because of the higher priority tasks. But as long as we made promises or the rules, they need to be followed. So those are the key principles in our team. Voice up and follow the rules. On every Monday, we had a meeting for the planning. And we had a morning briefing. And we set the Thursday meeting to review what we have done. And the main purpose is the improvement of the process of the development. And we had a meeting of the sprint review on Fridays to review what we have achieved so far. At this point, what we are developing is reviewed, and also how we develop is also reviewed. And if there is a need, we made an improvement, and its cycle is repeated. We started small with 4 members. However, currently, everyone involved in services are incorporated in this circle of the agile development. And I'm not sure which meeting it was, but whether the Monday meeting or the Thursday meeting, the members are not engineers, but others like designer, manager, directors are invited. So we have a multidisciplinary meeting. That's the new structure we have. So here's some interesting data for you. This is the number of pull requests in the GitHub. How many numbers of PR we had. As you can see, the number is increasing. The bar in green is Ruby pull request, and the one in brown is pull request in Perl, and the number of Ruby is increasing, as you can clearly see from this bar chart. But the number of engineers remain unchanged. But if we use Ruby, you can see the improvement of the productivity. So I think it's something interesting for you. So in summary, as the responsible person or the manager of the engineering, my strategy is on AWS and DevOps and Ruby on Rails and Agile development. And Ruby supported them. I appreciate Ruby for that. Yesterday, Matsumoto-san delivered a keynote and he talked about what made possible by Ruby, and our achievement was made possible by Ruby as well. And also we are supported by new team members or the new structure of the team. So they in our team, our strategy was supported by the team members, so I also appreciate them a lot. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, we would like to take questions from the floor. Is there anyone who have a question? No question? So thank you for staying up. Thank you very much.